Welcome to Awakening, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christian Strang, and welcome to the not New Year's New Year Oracle reading. And in fact, we are going to do something totally unprecedented this year. We are not going to have an annual Oracle reading in January because it's time to embrace the fact that January is not the true New Year. Are you with me? Or maybe you're curious, to hear what I'm talking about. All right. So we know that time is nonlinear. And as always, I'm going to give you the source perspective on whatever topic it is that we're talking about. That's my commitment because it's my own personal desire to understand this earth experience from the source perspective and to then be able to anchor that into physical reality and live the highest expression that is available to me. So that's why we're talking about the not New Year's. So we're always going to bring to you information that is from this source perspective. And then you get to take it into your sacred heart and go, does this align for where I'm at in my life right now? And right now, it might not align for you. But 5 years from now, you might remember listening to this podcast and be like, oh, I'm ready to try that. So let's begin. Time is nonlinear. It's going backwards and forwards at the same time. Humans created calendars and clocks and all of that to help assist being anchored and rooted on the earth. It gives us a sense of control. It gives us a sense of understanding of time and space. And that's perfectly wonderful and very appropriate given the third dimensional nature of the human experience for a massive part of time. What we know in June of 2019, you've heard me talking about this for some time, June of 2019, the earth entered into a higher frequency. All the work that light workers had been doing for eons had finally come to supporting the earth and moving into a higher state of consciousness because the earth is her own spirit, her own being, and we are living upon her. So the collective consciousness, the collective soul of humans that lives on earth has been in about the fourth dimensional state of consciousness, maybe a little bit higher, working its way into the fifth dimensional state. The earth is already there. So she's already in her ascension in a powerful way. And thus, so are we. And depending on where you're at on your journey, meaning how long since you awoke, how long you've been living in a more awakened state of consciousness, meaning you understand what we're doing here, that there's an artificial matrix running this human experience, and we're here to liberate ourselves from the artificial nature of it to become our true selves, our God selves, and fulfill the original intent that Source and Mother, Father, God had when the earth was created. It's just some high level summary of what we're doing here on earth. Okay. So when we talk about the new year and the artificial matrix celebrates the new year on January 1st, we can get curious about, is that truly in alignment with Source? So we're going to look at some of the facts, if you will, although I know the word facts is can be its own trigger point. But we're going to look a little bit at what happens at this time in the year and how did we even come to this state of January 1st being the quote unquote new year. We know we've got enough information now to know that if the mainstream is programming humans to do something, we probably want to do the opposite. You heard me talk about in last month's Oracle reading in December that we are in the winter season. And it's interesting that during the winter season, a time of really going within, doing deep healing work, deep transformation, really having a lot of solo time and one-on-one time, we're actually programmed to party and indulge and actually be disconnected from the deeper truths and the deeper inner healing, and to be in large groups. And we've seen that throughout our experience. We can see that the artificial matrix tends to be in the opposite program of what natural cycles are and what the divine and source has created for us, right? So that's just like, we know that's what we're working with. So when it comes to something like January 1st and the new year and New Year's and New Year's resolutions, and then, fourth dimension, we changed it to New Year's intentions. We can get curious about, wait, why would I be celebrating this? And why would I be acting as though this is the time to make radical change in my life? This is a time for deep healing and transformation. Winter months give us the perfect opportunity to really go deep within and not have a lot of the external distractions, because it's not go time. This isn't go time. This isn't, and this is why, what is the statistic? I think, 80% of New Year's resolutions by the second week in January or mid-January are gone. Why does that happen? Because this is energetically not the time to do go time. This is energetically the time, if you want to say yes to a deep healing process or a deep healing transformation, this is the time for that. But this is not the time to go hard in the paint. Summer is the time to do that. The summer months are that maximum expansion energy. You're going to have the bandwidth. You're going to have the energy to do that. You can do in summer, you can do deep healing transformation and go to all the, activities and do all the things and get way less sleep, because that's what the cosmos, the earth, the energy provides you with support to do. But in December, in January, in the winter months, for those of you that are on the other hemisphere listening to this, you can just invert this for your reality, because I know you all are in summer right now. So January 1st, New Year's makes sense for you. So we can start to work with this cycle and the Earth's natural seasons in a really beneficial to us way. So also, just an addendum to the artificial matrix. So I've just given you what's happening in the natural world and how we can work with that. Chinese medicine teaches us March is when the expansion energy starts. And when we go into the spring, we start going into expansion energy, and that's a time of birth and growth. That's a time to start to do more. Then you get into, summer and the summer solstice, and now you've got that maximum expansion energy. And then in the fall, we come into balance. We've been going from March to August. So then you come into the fall, you start grounding more, start getting more balanced with your schedule and with your time. And then And you start, you're not doing as much. And then by winter, we're really going deep into our own inner cocoon and healing transformation and deep one-on-one connection, or deep, 1 to 2, 1 to 3 connection. It's not the big groups, but we're doing more of the big groups in March and, from the spring to the summer. So we understand those cycles. Now, if we just look at what the artificial matrix has done, we know that they changed the calendar. So up until 1582, now this is his story, so we got to take it with a grain of salt. But according to the program in the Matrix, or the story in the Matrix, that we were celebrating New Year's in March, because that was in harmony with the natural cycles. But then some brouhaha, who was probably a reptilian, but that's a whole other story we don't even have to get into, decided that they were going to change the new year to be after Christmas and be January 1st. And so how did April Fool's Day come about? Because they called the people, that was probably you and I at that time in 1582, there was a group of people that said, F that, we're actually going to keep celebrating the new year in March. And so they started April Fool's Day to sort of poke fun at the fools who continued to honor the natural calendar and not the artificial matrix creation of January 1st. So there's a little bit of history there too, to give you some more context about why January 1st is not the true new year. In fact, I want to introduce to you the possibility that even March isn't the absolute true new year. The true new year is different for all of us. The true new year is your birthday. Whenever your birthday comes around, that is the start of your personal new year. That's the time to set clear intentions and resolutions, if you will, set clear, if you want to call them goals, and to take action powerfully forward towards the co-creation of your next level reality. So your personal new year, which comes on your birthday, is the time to do all the things that you're sort of being bombarded with in this January 1st and this January time frame. So there are some things you can do that are gentle and are supportive of the natural cycles that we're in January. And if you see our book, Love Now, Your Daily Dose of Love and Miracles, if you look at that book in January, actually at the solstice, you get to do like the year review and really tuning into what you're so grateful for. Then in January, we tune into a few other practices that are really gentle and are really supportive of this quote unquote new year, but it's the artificial matrix new year energy that you can do that's really gentle, is not going to take you out of alignment with the natural cycles. So I want to invite you into getting a copy of Love Now, Your Daily Dose of Love and Miracles. If you don't have that, it's 365 days of love, wisdom, inspiration, love activism, channeled messages that are love and miracle based to assist you on your journey. And you get rituals for the solstice, the equinox, and the quote unquote new year, artificial matrix new year in January, which are really in keeping with the seasons and will be supportive for you. And I want to invite you into celebrating the new year on your personal new year, on your birthday. Stay up until midnight the night before and do a countdown and celebrate your incarnation, because that is truly so exciting. The day that you specifically chose to incarnate on earth, not by random, not by accident, by absolute miracles. You know, we have all this programming about what it takes to make a baby in the matrix. And I just want to offer into the space that every single time a new soul comes onto the earth, it is an incredible miracle of light that deserves to be celebrated. It is such a fantastic thing that occurs. So celebrate your incarnation every single year and set intentions, tune in, celebrate, like I said, the night before, do the big party, get all dressed up, take yourself out, really celebrate the day that you chose to incarnate, and then set really clear goals and intentions, whatever word you want to use, resolutions, whatever word resonates for you. Set up that vision board or add to your January vision board with expansion. We are here to ascend, to evolve, to become who we really are in form. That's the powerful. It's easy to be who you really are when you're a non-physical. You don't even have to try. But when you have chosen to take your non-physical energy and place it into an avatar, place it into an earth body, and then you're in an artificial matrix that programs you with all of these programs that are in opposition to what is actually true. And when you're surrounded by other people who are also in a trance state and a spell state and are misbelieving what is truly true, now that is something to be who you really are in that kind of scenario. Oh, and we'll just add there's a negative agenda that knows that angelics and light beings are here and are aware that this is happening and will, they have obstacles aplenty, right? Take your pick of, something as basic as sugar, refined sugar, or, popular mainstream music and movies and all the different obstacles and temptations, alcohol, drugs, all the different ways that the artificial matrix is tempting humans to stay out of alignment with who they really are. So really fascinating adventure. This is an adventure that we chose to be on as spirits in a body. So it's not New Year's. New Year's is whenever your birthday is. That's your personal New Year. And when we live in harmony with the seasons, we know that March, when we start getting into that spring energy, we start getting into that expansion energy. We start getting into that growth. So January and February are still times for deep healing transformation. So you might choose to do a detox in January and February, but you're not doing it because of some crazed artificial matrix New Year's programming. You're doing it because your body is desiring a deep transformation, and you're going to go and be with your body throughout that process. You may decide that January is when you want to get sober. And if that's the case, please feel free to message me. I love supporting others in their sober journey. So you may decide that January is a month that you want to go sober and you want to play with being sober. For the record, I never once did like a dry October or a dry January. I was so fully committed to my drinking life that I was like, no way, why would you take 30 days off? But then when I stopped, and it'll be 9 years this year since I had my last drink. So if you'd like support with that, there is a 90-day reset that I can assist you in getting connected into and really start making the changes that are needed so that you can live a more free and liberated life. Because yes, alcohol is one of the many traps here on earth to keep you disconnected from who you really are under the guise of fun and celebration. You know, however they can package it to us, right? However sexy the artificial matrix can make poison to us. They've done quite the job. So it is true that you may be guided to do those things, to start a detox in the month of January, or to stop drinking, at least for the month of January, to try it on, if you will. You might choose to want to do some really deep transformation in this month, but I want to invite you to do that from a place of not a crazed artificial matrix program, because it is sort of a crazed thing that happens. I remember back in the day when I used to go to gyms and used to do that more traditional workout thing. You'd go to the gyms in January and I would be so annoyed because it would be like so busy and so full, and it would last for like a few weeks and then everybody was gone after that. So we want you to be making choices from your liberated self, from your true self, not from the program in the matrix that tells you like, it's the new year, like hurry up, you need to do all these things. No, this is not the time to do all these things. It is definitely the time for healing and transformation, but this is still a gentle time. This is still a quiet time. This is still a time to keep it simple and really stay within yourself and really spend time with you, the true you, in meditation and deep dives. And again, in the summer months, we have way more resources at our disposal energetically and in the cosmos where we can do the deep inner work and we can do all the other social things. But in December, it's really, and January and February in the winter months, it's really about doing that deeper work and then connecting authentically one-on-one or in small groups with those that we really have a deep soul connection with and celebrating one another. Now, of course, I think we should do that year-round. But again, in these winter months, it's less about all the people and all the things, and it really is about our deeper healing transformation. So I invite you to play with that. And maybe this is the year you're hearing these words and you're like, yes, that is I feel so aligned with that. I'm doing that. And maybe you're like, nah, I love this January cray and like, let's go for it. And that's okay too. So just file that away for yourself. And maybe at some point you'll be called to live more seasonally, or you'll be called to work with the New Year's in this way and really celebrate your personal New Year, your birthday, as the true New Year that is here for you. And all the things that the artificial matrix say to do January 1st, apply that to your actual birthday and see how that transforms your world. Okay, so I checked in with Mary and the team and my higher self, and we're not doing, for the first time ever, we're not doing an annual oracle reading for January. I'm going to give you a monthly oracle reading for January. And then I asked, will we do an annual oracle reading in March where it's more of like the New Year vibes, the more expansion vibes? And I don't know. So that remains to be seen, but we will give you the January oracle reading, and it is so good. It's so delicious. It comes from our oracle, Ecstatic Union with the Divine. If you know, you've heard me say it's my favorite oracle because in my assessment, it is like our deepest work. So the message for you for this month of January is, Oh my goodness, you're going to love it. I'll just say that. You're going to love it. The title of the transmission is The Pathway of Love. And again, it's coming from our 2016 release, Ecstatic Union with the Divine. Live rich, live in love, live in peace. So if you are not driving or somewhere where you have to have your eyes open, I invite you to close your eyes and just allow yourself to go into a receiving state here. And just notice the words, the phrases, the pieces that I share here with you that you feel a sensation in your body. You might get chills, or your tummy might start gurgling, which is letting you know your Wei Qi is moving, things are shifting. Just notice how your body responds as you hear this message. And I'm going to read until my higher wisdom says I've shared everything with you I'm supposed to. This isn't a super long transmission, so I may end up sharing the whole transmission. We'll see what wants to come through here. So take a nice deep cleansing breath. We always work with the detoxifying breath, where we're working with the body's natural abilities and the body's natural self-healing and detoxification. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of your mouth. It is a most auspicious time for you right now. Can you feel this? It is a time when you are being asked, sometimes not very gently, we know, depending on your level of alignment to the asking, but you are being asked to make your life a living expression of love. And this love that you are being asked to express in your life is not a love that can be accounted for in X's and O's or in mere words. It is a love that is an active, moving vehicle for transformation. And this transformation that we are speaking of is the transformation that must occur deep within yourself, deep within your soul, deep within those wounds that you have held so tight for so long. It's a time of truth-telling, not truth-telling out there in the world to those you meet, but truth-telling to yourself, to knowing yourself in a way that is crystal clear in every way. This transformation that we speak of deep within is not something foreign to you, for the very cells in your body are specifically oriented to transform. Your body is continuously regenerating and becoming more whole in its processes. And when you are aligned, clear, and centered, this is even more easeful for the cells of your body to do. It is in this way, too, that your emotional and spiritual bodies are also asking for you to allow this transformation to take place in your living the ecstatic divine expression of who you truly are, which is love. This path of love is something that you distract yourself with by thinking and assuming that it means a love outside of you should be your primary focus, that it means this pathway of love only exists in other people or places and things out in the world around you. But in fact, the path of love that we are speaking about is the path that will lead you home. Home to your true nature, home to where the true you resides, the centered you, the aligned you, the you that has always been there, patiently awaiting your recognition and invitation to step into this in the body experience more fully. You can feel this by the sense of relief that you may be feeling by hearing these words and feeling them within you. Your life was not meant to be a buzzing vibration of activity. That isn't truly what you intended when you came. You intended a gentleness, an ease, a fullness, an abundance, a level of connection that opens your heart and expands you in gratitude, and so much more. So much more that is very specific to you, but which contains these deep themes of love and bliss and peace and joy and abundance. You cannot not want to experience these aspects or to feel these feelings because, guess what? They are inherently you. Love, bliss, peace, joy, abundance, that's who you really are. And the only way to truly live this path of love is to uncover within yourself the presence of this more fully. And we know so many of you are asking now, but how? How do I do this? And we want you to understand something very clearly here. First, it's already happening. The very fact that you're here with us like this lets you know that you are on the path to love. The rate and the expansion of which it manifests in your life experience is up to the next piece of information that we want you to know. That you cannot be on the path to love while looking out there in the world to deliver that love to you. The love and this path of loving starts first by allowing yourself to get very curious about what you think, about what you feel, and working the tools and practices that we have given to you in many different formats so as to realign with this core you. We are desiring for you to recognize that being present to your experience and the thoughts and the beliefs and the limitations that present themselves are all really and truly these golden opportunities, ripe with the potential to go deeper into loving yourself. Which means no matter what you find in the quiet of your thoughts or in those still moments or those moments of clarity, you will never cringe at and you will never judge. You will instead hold whatever you find as though it were the most fragile. We're showing Christian an image of a small bird's egg in your hands that you must handle ever so carefully so as not to disrupt it. You will tenderly and lovingly care for whatever you find within you. And how do you care for these limitations and wounds and fears, you may ask? By seeing them. By saying out loud even, I see you. I understand that you are here for me to love. You are here for me to find the compassion and love for you and for me and for all in this very moment in time. I see you and I no longer fear you. I no longer judge you. I simply love you. For I know and understand well that in loving this part of you, which is truly an aspect of myself, which is all, I am healing you, I am healing me, and I am healing all. It's so important for you to understand what these aspects truly are, our dear one. For all have within pieces and aspects that you may deem as unlovable. We understand that, and we want you to now understand that these aspects of self that you deem unlovable are there by design. They're there as part of the process to the divinity of who you really are. They are there because you are on this eternal journey of taking that which has been created and thought by spirits in a body in the past, air quotes around past because time is non-linear, and perhaps you collectively joined in with that thought form or mode of being in this lifetime or in other lifetimes, and you are being asked now to clean it up, to bring it to the light, to love it back into its natural state, which is love. There are no accidents. You are at your center, at your core, a divine being filled with love, comprised of love. You are the essence of love. But you have been conditioned to, through your own free will choices and the free will choices of others, you've been conditioned to forget this and instead believe in something different. But never fear, for you are now returning. You are remembering. You are revisiting these thought forms and limitations because you are now ready to remember what you know at the core of you. You are ready to remember that it is all love and that no, you cannot just skip ahead to love and bypass bringing light to that within you which desires your attention and love. Christian is popping in here and saying, well, if it's all love, can't we just skip ahead to the love part and forget the other pieces? And we know it would seem so much easier to do so, wouldn't it? But in truth, there are those pieces that you simply must be available to. The insights that desire to be made known by you. These are aspects of who you really are that desire your delightful acceptance and elation at their very presence. Don't you see the grandiosity of this divine unfolding and how all of this has been laid out and set up specifically for your brilliance and for your joy and for your ability to return to the love that has always been you and always will be? It has been and it is. And while it can seem so much easier to try to get love from other people as a way of bandaging up those hurt and wounded places, never can another do for you what you must do for yourself. Never will receiving love and validation from anyone or anything outside of you take the place of the love and validation that is needed by you and for you. So, dear one, let go of needing anyone outside of you to make it better for you, and instead do as we have guided you to here. Love those aspects of yourself that you have previously shunned and even loathed. Bring them to the light of your heart, to the light of your soul, the light of all that is, and let them know that they are cared for, that they are loved, that they are divine even in their non-divinity, for they are aspects that you came to love so you could set yourself and thereby all beings free. And so it is. It is so. Take a nice deep cleansing breath in, exhaling out. And if you feel like I do right now and you just want to sob after that last paragraph, please do. Because there's a beautiful healing that's happening. Well, that happens in all of these transmissions, but definitely a beautiful healing there in this transmission. So perfect. I want you to know I don't reread the whole transmission. I just am guided to the transmission to share with you. I see what it is. I read I kind of skim the first paragraph, and then I get into recording the podcast. And I am consistently just so impressed, surprised, and love that these transmissions are exactly in alignment with what we just talked about. This is the perfect oracle reading for you for January. Going deep within and loving yourself and letting go of needing anyone outside of you to validate you. I mean, so perfect. The pathway of love is your path for the month that we call January 2024. Thank you so much for listening and for being here. If this was of benefit to you, I invite you to share this with your social media, with anyone in your swirl that you think could benefit from hearing this message about the not new year, and about the pathway of love as the focus for the month of January. And if you loved what was shared here and you want to go deeper in your own inner transformation, I invite you to check out our Superpowers Guide that gives you a 5-step healing process that you can take any limitation, any wound, any fear, any trauma. You can take it through this 5-step process to self-heal it all on your own. It is so powerful. I've been using this process since 2015 and now teach it to others. And it is an incredible, incredible resource to use on the path of your transformation. You can find the Superpowers Guide at sacred-spirituality.org. Click on the Superpowers Guide button and there it will be. Thank you as always for listening. I am your host, Dr. Christian Strang, and this has been Awakening, the podcast.